SRE Concepts Part 11 Human Biases. How human biases work against reliability. Human biases can harm reliability in an IT organization by influencing decision-making, problem-solving, and communication. Here's a closer look at how biases work against reliability and some strategies to mitigate their effects. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias leads individuals to seek or interpret information in a way that confirms their existing beliefs or assumptions. This bias can prevent objective analysis of potential reliability risks and hinder the identification of vulnerabilities. To address confirmation bias, encourage a culture of open-mindedness and constructive skepticism. Foster an environment where diverse viewpoints and challenging assumptions are welcomed. Encourage individuals to seek out and consider alternative perspectives and evidence actively. Anchoring bias. Anchoring bias occurs when individuals rely heavily on the first information encountered when making decisions. This bias can lead to underestimating risks or overlooking alternative solutions. To overcome anchoring bias, encourage thorough evaluation of multiple sources of information before making decisions. Encourage the consideration of various scenarios and alternative options. Use data-driven approaches to guide decision-making and challenge initial assumptions. Availability bias. Availability bias refers to relying on readily available information when making judgments or decisions. This bias can lead to underestimating reliability risks that are not immediately apparent or highly visible. To mitigate availability bias, promote a systematic approach to risk assessment that considers a wide range of potential risks. Encourage using historical data, case studies, and incident reports to gain a more balanced perspective on reliability risks. Regularly review and update risk assessments for changing circumstances and emerging threats. Optimism bias. Optimism bias involves individuals having an overly optimistic view of their abilities or the likelihood of positive outcomes. This bias can lead to underestimating risks and neglecting necessary precautions. To counter optimism bias, encourage a culture of healthy skepticism and realistic risk assessment. Conduct objective risk analysis and consider worst-case scenarios. Encourage individuals to challenge their assumptions and seek input from others to ensure a more balanced perspective. Groupthink. Groupthink occurs when a desire for harmony and conformity within a group leads to the suppression of dissenting opinions. This bias can hinder critical evaluation and overlook potential reliability issues. To mitigate groupthink, foster an environment that encourages diverse perspectives and constructive dissent. Establish a culture of psychological safety where team members feel comfortable expressing alternative viewpoints. Encourage devil's advocacy and assign individuals critical evaluators during decision-making processes. Overconfidence bias. Overconfidence bias involves individuals having an inflated belief in their abilities or judgments. This bias can lead to poor risk assessment and decision-making. To address overconfidence bias, encourage a culture of humility and continuous learning. Encourage individuals to seek feedback and evaluate their decisions objectively. Foster an environment where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities rather than sources of shame or blame. Summary. Mitigating biases requires a combination of awareness, education, and cultural changes. Organizations should invest in training programs that raise awareness of biases and their potential impact on reliability. Additionally, promoting a culture of open communication diversity of thought, and data-driven decision-making can help reduce the influence of biases and enhance reliability in an IT organization.